Hey guys, what's up? This is Wally with Beach River Landscapes. Wanted to bring you guys a review on the Husqvarna 580BTS. So if you've seen in the couple of the videos that I put up, I switched over from Stihl to the Husqvarna. I wanted to get into a couple reasons why. As I touched on the last setup video, I'm going to be doing I'm doing bigger properties now. Building the company back up. I was really eager to jump back into some commercial stuff. So was lucky enough to get the contract on a really big condo. It's like 40 buildings, about 35 acres. So for that, I wanted to keep my mind open to different products this time. So what I ended up doing was demoing a couple of things, and I ended up landing on the Husqvarna 580BTS, which is it replaces the Red Max 8500. Anyways, I just wanted to give you guys a couple of things on this. As far as size, it's definitely a little bit bigger than the 600. But the thing that I don't mind about it is it has these the straps. I want to get into the straps on this thing are pretty gross, in a good way. It has a harness that comes across the bottom right here that locks in across the front of your waist. It's got a harness at the top up here that goes across your chest area. So between this and the bottom one, it ergonomically it really takes I would probably say about half of the feeling of the gravity of this thing off of your back. And I've got a bad back. I'm sure a lot of us do, in landscape, doing it so long. But this with the weight, it's probably, I think, a couple of pounds more, which you feel when you're walking, for 2 hours blowing one property or 3 hours blowing one property. The way that they set the straps up, with the crossover deal, it's kind of like when you're carrying basically it's like a travel backpack, snowboard backpack. So the concept is to alleviate the back, from carrying all of the weight. So they incorporated that here. Huge thumbs up, 2 thumbs up on that. The strap system on here is remarkable. I love it. The handle, as far as like gripping this thing and picking it up and down, it's very comfortable. I mean, it's so smooth. It really feels like there's no effort whatsoever when it comes to picking the blower up. A couple of things that I do want to hit on though, that I'm really not fond of, but I mean it's no big deal. I'm getting over it. Is the switches on the the 600s or just the Stihl backpack blowers period, are always that spring-loaded deal. They sit vertically on top of the tube instead of side saddled, how they are. You can I'll twist it so you can see. They're side saddled, and yeah, they have an adjustment, right here where you can loosen this up, and then you can crank this forward or backward. I actually found that leaning forward, almost like that 5 o'clock position, actually works a little bit better, when you're handling it. But the thing is, on the 600s and the all the Stihl backpack blowers, the switches are spring loaded. On these right here, you go up, you can hear it click right there, and it stays there. That's the only thing I don't like, because you have to pull it back down. You have to remember to pull it back down, or you just have to pull it back down when you're done. And it's kind of like, is it off? It's off right there. Where's on? It's kind of stiff. That's the only thing. That's probably the only thing I really don't like about this backpack blower. But in comparison to its performance, it's pretty minuscule. But again, they should definitely on the next version take note to this and get rid of this solid off switch. Spring loaded is the way to go, because it's not. I mean, we're in a hurry all the time, and the thing is, that's why we buy really nice stuff, and things that make the job as easy as possible. We try and work as smart as we can, and because we already work hard. So it would be cool if they figured out a spring-loaded deal to that. But as far as the ergonomics, as far as where the handle's at, I mean, it's not a huge complaint or anything, because actually what I do is I kick my hand. Whenever, not to backpedal, but whenever you full, on the The Stihls, you know, you full throttle it up and you kick the, you know, you kick the start, you know, lever up and it holds it in place. I guess, you know, you can set it how you want, but with the Husqvarna, what's cool about this is as you push back on the on-off switch, it'll pull up the handle for you. I'm not sure if you can get that. You can see the handle kick out. As you pull down on the switch, you can do it that way, or you can do it where you can pull the trigger, then pull back on it, release it with the switch. And like I said, all the way forward is off. You have to remember to kick it back down. So as far as, you know, like I said, again, the ergonomics, the feel, the handle of it, you know, I like the Stihl a little bit better in the on and off switch, but I've gotten used to it, and you know, kicking the handle forward has worked better, but I probably will never change my mind about the on-off deal. The off deal should definitely be spring loaded. You know, these the tubes are pretty solid. They're really thick. They got a really broad base to it. I mean, you can see the size of the tube on the front. It's pretty massive, and that's how these things blow out. And you can see, you know how it's flared out at the end, and that's how these things blow. They're pretty broad, man. They're really massive feeling blowers. You know, I explained before, this is like a very stocky, big, broad blower. Even the way that it performs and the way kind of it sits on your back. But here, I'll show you the way this kicks on here. So it's, you know, it's really simple. You know, you put the straps on here, you put them on here, and I mean, just instantly right there, you feel a really big weight difference. But you can see how it fits on your back. You can feel a big weight difference, you know, shift, you know, whenever you clip these in. But you can feel it like right above, or like right at your hip, you know, right above your butt. That's where you feel it sitting. But so strapping, this isn't something I would carry around blowing all day and not use the strap. So I would definitely use the straps. Another thing is, sorry I'm a little out of breath. I got a compressor here at the house and tire was leaking on the trailer, so I had to change it, take it off and plug it and everything. So but in any case, it's I mean, like I said, you can feel it like on the back of your, you know, your hips, you know, above your butt and everything. But that's why it's really important, you know, to use the straps that they give you for a reason. The vents on the side here, everything gets pulled in. It leaves a really nice, cool feeling on your back. And what I touched on before is definitely accurate. You have to let these break in. I'm not sure, maybe it's all four, and it's all four. It's not just one. All four of mine, I noticed after about 2 or 3 days, they broke in. They started cranking. It was just, I guess it's just kind of like, you know, certain vehicles and machines that you buy, there's a little break-in period. You know, with Stihls, you don't really have that. That's the one thing about Stihl, they've always had a way of start and go. That's one reason I've never really gotten the Shindaiwas, because in the winter times down here, it was just a nightmare to get a Shindaiwa start. I remember I bought, you know, a 282 or something like that, and a 260 something just for fun, just to buy them. I ended up, after a week or two, none of the guys wanted to use them. I mean, those things, I think they're still sitting in my garage. They're like 5 years old. They're just still sitting in there. They're in pieces. I don't even use them. But anyway, they have like a little break-in period after a couple of days, and these things are just rock solid. And as I said, if you're just by yourself, the 600 or the Stihl backpack blowers, I think are great, or even smaller ones. But when you're doing big commercial properties, for me, like I said, personally, I think that, well, it's not think, I prefer these over the Stihl, hands down. Like I said, it's just like a big, you know, wide street blower. And I do find, though, it takes a couple more cranks. Let's see, this hasn't been started since yesterday afternoon. Let's see how many cranks. I'm not going to prime it or anything, because usually, like on my Stihls, you know, the Stihls, we don't usually have to prime or do much. They usually fire right up. I'm not going to choke it. Let's see if it fires up. All right, well, it almost fired right up. That's not bad. Wasn't too bad, but you can see you heard a little bit of the stutter in the beginning. That's the thing, like I'm finding with them, is that they definitely need to take a minute to warm up. Usually, I mean, you get the same thing with Stihls, sometimes. It just depends, but usually I find that, after the Stihls are broken into, you usually do have to pump the gas a little bit, but so I guess that's kind of like not really being fair to this, because these things are still new, but like I said, after a couple of seconds when they're running, or after a couple days when you first buy them, after them warming up, I mean, they're absolute monsters, man. So that's really the main reason I got them, because I'm doing larger commercial properties, and I like being able to have like the distance blowing, instead of having to get right up on everything. And you don't have to usually do that with the 600s, but okay, when you're blowing like sidewalks, you're blowing the top of the sidewalk. After you edge everything, you're done, and there's dirt on the roadside, there's dirt on the top, right at the crack. Usually the Stihl, you'll bounce it off the top of the grass, and it cleans out the edge line. And you kind of have to double up and bounce the air. With this, I find that you don't. You get used to it, and you put the air distribution right in the middle where that sidewalk kicks down, and it blows the top, blows the road up onto the grass with ease. Something I've never really gotten from the Stihl blowers. It's usually takes a little more work especially when you have really thick, rich dirt, and sometimes it rains down anywhere. It gets a little muddy. I find that this pushes the water out of the way if there's water streaming down the road next to the sidewalk. Like I said, not to be a broken record, but it's definitely a broad blower. It puts out just massive amounts of air, man. And it probably sounds really loud, on recording it, but it's really not too loud, and it's not the loudest blower I've ever used. It's probably the quietest blower for the size blower that I've ever used. But so anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a quick tip. I mean, I could sit here and go around and blow things, but there's really nothing to blow. But I'm gonna probably a couple weeks, maybe after kind of get broken in, just started this condo, so maybe we'll do I'll try and get something together and do a really cool video of because I was looking a lot, and I can't really find anybody doing, like down here in Florida we call condos apartment complexes, and I noticed there are some places, some cities and states where condos are more referred to one level, almost home duplex style looking deal. So I was trying to find some videos of people mowing like apartment complexes. So we'll try and put something together to really show off how the blowers work, because the place has tons of oak trees and all that, so they obviously make huge messes. So it'll be a good opportunity to really show how the blowers shine. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a couple of quick things as why I ended up choosing this. Even having them now, if Stihl brought me 4 600s and said we'll trade you, I would say no, because I really dig these. It's the power, and even though they're a little bit bigger and a tiny bit heavier, they actually kind of feel more comfortable for me personally on the back. I got a couple of guys that are a little vertically challenged. These things look like a huge sea turtle on their back, but they actually like them. They don't mind them because they love how powerful they are. Like I said, it's kind of whenever, because I like to leave the full throttle on, and then I like to grab the tubes. So with the Stihls, you're just grabbing the hose, but what's cool about these is you have all kinds of like little tricks and ways that you can hang on to things. And like I said, when you leave it full throttle, because when you're doing properties that are really big, you're not using the throttle and bouncing it around, so you just put the thing on full blast max, and then you just grab the tube, that way you can kind of bounce the air around and maximize the performance. But that's one thing I do like about the handle is I'm able to kind of manipulate and grab things a certain way. You have more options of places to put your hand to hold things. But like I said, just the last tip is the on and off switch. I'm not a fan, but otherwise, I gotta say that this is these are my blowers of choice, and until something comes out that destroys this, I'm gonna stick with these. I love them. Hope that helps out, guys. Take care.